All right. So rate of change and slope. Okay. So what happens? What's an incline? Like on a treadmill. What does that do?
It raises the degree percentage.
Okay. It raises the treadmill, and what does that do to our body? Is it easier or harder to walk uphill? It is harder, right? It works more muscles. That's essentially slope, okay? You might start off on a nice flat surface where you're just kind of taking a steady, easy walk, or you're going on these different inclines. There are, as far as picture goes, okay, and there are some notes that are going to be required today. As far as picture goes, this is going to be a positive line. Okay, and this one is negative, and that's the biggest, I would say, challenge for some individuals is telling the difference between positive and negative. Okay, as far as this first part over here, the slope is described as your rise over your run, which is the up and down. Okay, whether you go up or down, and then the left or the right. Okay, and that's pretty much the gist of slope as far as a picture goes. Okay, so I always count from the lowest dot to the highest dot, and we're going to go up. So how many do you have to go up? How many do you have to go over to get to this dot? We're going to go up, how many? 2. And we're going to go over how many? 4. Now, this can be reduced. Okay, and so if you're not good at reducing fractions on your calculator, which is what I want you to do right now, you're going to look for the button that looks like this. Okay, it should be somewhere off to the left. It should be somewhere off to the left, and type in 2 on the top and 4 on the bottom, and it will reduce that fraction for you. Well, it equals. And then it'll reduce that fraction for you without you even having to do anything crazy. Okay, and what did you get? 1 over 2. Okay, and then lastly, and it wasn't necessary on this one, but this is a positive line. Okay, so if it was a negative line, you have to put a negative. Okay, look at 3. How much do you rise? How much do you run? How much did we rise?
3.
We went up 3, and we went over how many? 8. Okay, and again, you can check that fraction on your calculator to see if it reduces. Okay, if you don't know how to type it in, please let me know so I can show you. Okay, and then look at that line. Is that a positive line or a negative line? You're just going to hit down, and then hit 4, and hit equals. It's a positive line. Does that fraction reduce or no? No. Okay, number 5. How much did we rise? How much did you run?
3 and 2.
3 and
Wait,
over 2?
3. Yeah.
It was 3 and 2. Okay, is that a positive line or a negative line? That is a negative line. Now, take a second, look at me. You can either put a negative here, here, or here, but only one. Okay? They all mean the same thing. It does not matter where you put that. Okay, you can attach it to the 3, you can attach it to the 2, or you can attach it right out in front of that fraction mark. Okay, 7. How much do you rise? How much do you run? 1 over 7. Is that a positive line or a negative line? It is a positive line. Okay, so that's how we can find slope on a graph with just 2 points. Okay. Okay, for these, they're coordinates, okay? And so this is how we find slope through the coordinates, and it is a simple formula, okay? And you will need the formula, okay? So M always stands for slope, okay? That's the letter and that always gets used for slope. So it is y2 minus y sub 1 over x2 minus x sub 1. Okay, now, I know it looks crazy. Write it down. It's not. If you have the formula in a calculator, I promise you, you'll be just fine. Okay, so that's our formula. Now, when we label a coordinate, it is always set up like this: x comma y. Okay, so we can go through and label these. It's going to be x1 because that's our first one, y1. Okay, we call them 1 because that's our first set of coordinates. This is going to be called x2, y2. Okay, and so we're going to put everything where it goes. So I'm working with y2. What is my y2? 4. So we're going to say 4 minus, what is my y1? Negative 11. So we're going to put negative 11. Okay, make sure that you're always going to have at least one minus there. Okay, x2. Now we're looking at the bottom here. What is my x2? So negative 16 minus, that minus is part of the formula, it's always going to be there, x1, negative 9. Okay, so on your calculator, I'm going to hit your fraction button and type that all in. Type in 4 minus negative 11, and then hit your down arrow and do the negative 16. Minus negative 9. And what do you get?
Negative 15 over 7.
Somebody agree?
Negative 3 over 5.
Negative 3 over 5 or negative 15 over 7. You got negative 15 over 7? Okay, so then go back and make sure that you have all of the minus signs. Did you miss one? Yeah, there should be one. Yeah. So Didi, you probably missed one too, because Gibson got something different there. Okay, so negative 15 over 7. Okay, so we can do the same thing with this. We're going to say x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, and just following with the formula, what is my y2? 15 minus y1. 1 over x2. What's my x2? 6 minus x1. Negative 15. Okay, type it in your calculator, see what you get. Two over 3. Somebody agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, one more. And he shrugged his shoulders, so I don't know. And Gibson was wrong last time. Somebody. I don't have a calculator, so I can't. You got 2 over 3 too? Listen, I know you told me before, or I've told you before, listen, if you think that I actually know the answer and I have it memorized in my brain, I don't. I write down whatever you guys tell me, okay? So if you tell me 3 over 5, I'm gonna write down 3 over 5. I don't know until I grade your sheet. And then I'm like, oh, that class didn't type. Okay, so if you think you're not gonna type and shrug your shoulders and I'm just gonna write down the correct answer, I'm not. I don't know what it is. So we're going to say x1, y1, x2, y2. teachers and they're like, I did that on purpose. They lying. Okay, so what is my y2?
13.
Negative 13 minus y1.
Negative 17.
Negative 17 over x2. 3 minus x1. Negative 9. Okay, there's a lot of negatives there, so be careful.
1/3.
1/3, somebody agree? You got 1/3 too? Okay. Last one, we're gonna say x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, we're gonna say negative 10 minus negative 13 over negative 1 minus negative 13.
1/4.
What'd you guys get?
1/4.
Well, I know you did, but you got 1/4 too? Okay.
So we don't have to do that last back page.
We are.
Oh.
Alright, so when we have this equation, okay, so this is a linear equation. The formula goes like this: y equals mx plus b. Okay, that's the slope formula. You're going to see it 1,000 times throughout the next 4 years because you're in high school. Okay, our m stands for our slope. My b stands for my y-intercept, okay, which is what we did the other day. Remember, it's wherever it crosses the y line, okay? And so all they want you to do on here is find the slope, find the m, okay? So if we're looking at number 1, notice how the y matches up, the equals matches up, the slope matches up, the x matches up, the plus matches up, and the 2 matches up. Everything perfectly matches up in that formula. And so what is in the m spot?
2/3.
2/3. So you're just going to say m equals 2/3. You're going to skip 19. I don't know what the heck I was doing.
Can you try it?
You're more than welcome to. I don't care. Okay, 21. What is my m? 2/5. Okay, 23. What's my m? 3/2. Okay, they're all going to be in that same formula like that, and so really you just need to be able to look at that formula and know which one's the slope, which one's a y-intercept.